Hey fellow adventurers and dive enthusiasts, welcome back to ADD Adventures. As you can see, this is one of the dives I've been most excited about. This is Deception Pass. This is my 200th dive, and it's one of the most challenging videos for me to edit for many reasons. The first reason is that I'm trying to capture the excitement and the feel that Deception Pass has. Oh yeah, I'm feeling like I need to just whisper here. I've been listening to loud music the whole way up here, but it's just so quiet in the water. You can hear the water still. It's very calm water coming through, but you can just, it's still very loud water. Other reasons I feel like this is a challenging video to edit is because I don't feel like it was the best quality video footage for underwater videography. One of the reasons is because Deception Pass is known for having high currents, and being stable and holding the camera steady under these conditions was extremely difficult. Maybe that's not very calm. I think that's the point. This is so awesome. It's so cool. Check this out. I was one of the first divers to arrive and took a minute to walk along Long Beach, which is a beautiful beach. They say that Deception Pass is one of the areas that the veil is thin, meaning it seems a little bit heavenly. I was diving with my buddies Bruce and Kirill and a group of about 18 divers from Marker Buoy Dive Club out of Seattle. Deception Pass is known as a difficult and more challenging dive in the Pacific Northwest because the waters that go through Deception Pass come through with such force that the water can be moving as much as 9 miles per hour from the currents. In addition to having challenges with my underwater camera setup because my Macro Mini had been flooded. Subscribe, stay tuned for updates about that. Another reason that this video is so challenging for me to edit is because the milestone of being a 200th dive is something that I really want to capture how my life has changed since I began scuba diving. This dive was such an amazing experience with the people that I got to experience it with, and just being in such a top destination dive site in Washington and the beauty of the park all around, looking up at the bridge and taking in the scenic views. I'm planning to make another video that's more of an update on where I'm at personally as well as where I'm at in diving. So subscribe for future updates. We may have started the dive just a little bit early as the water was pretty turbulent and the currents were going pretty strong. I've heard of different stories about the upwellings and downwellings and the whirlpools and how rough it can possibly be at Deception Pass. It was a bit of a sensory overload trying to be alert with what the current situation was doing and also take in the beauty of the surrounding of what's around me, and also trying to look out for any potential dangers in the water. By this time, the current had slowed down and I was able to relax a little bit. Here I get to see a kelp greenling resting among the tube worms. This is when I started to feel pretty good in the dive, and I started talking to the fish and asking them to go get their friends and trying to call some whales. Everywhere I looked, there's life. From sea urchins, anemones, barnacles, all kinds of little things to tiny snails, in the hope of finding something like an octopus. Here I try to get up close to some tiny marine life, but unfortunately my macro mini lens had some water inside the lens, which blurred the shot. This kelp greenling is tucked into the rocks and being protected from the currents. Here Bruce is getting a kick out of rubbing his hand across the top of the tube worms, which suck in like they do to grab the particles that they eat for food. We were nearing the end of the dive and we were coming up a little shallower where the lighting was getting pretty nice to take some photos, and I was trying to get my buddy Bruce to get into position to get a photo of him, but he didn't understand what I was doing, so I ended up just getting some photos of myself instead. Getting a view from underwater of the bridge is something we don't get very often, so we took a moment to take that in. I didn't realize it going into the dive, but staying shallow where the light is penetrating the water, there's a lot of life, and that would have made a really good dive to stay around 20 feet or so. Being directly under the bridge, I was told to be on the lookout for pieces of the bridge that may have fallen down over the years. I found this thing that looks like an electrical cable, but I have no idea why there would be this thing underneath the bridge. I don't think there's any electrical cables going there, but it went on a little too far for me to continue exploring. I want to give a big thank you to Paul for organizing this dive and all of the other divers in the dive community and Marker Buoy for letting events like this happen.